Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Don't Make Me Famous, where we talk about the road to Hollywood for Latinos as I try to navigate it myself. So today I want to talk about fear, the big F word, not failure, but fear. And sometimes it does lead to that. One leads to the other. You're afraid because you might fail, and you fail because you're afraid. Sometimes they intersect, sometimes they have nothing to do with each other, and sometimes they actually help with a lot of things in life. But today, I was reminded of a sort of a poem, maybe spoken word. It was maybe more of like a thought that I had written down, and it goes a little something like this. And it goes a little something like this. 80s baby, sorry. You were bold from a young age. You knew how to hold court and command a crowd. Those with no confidence in themselves attempted to reprimand and diminish you, so as to not to feel small or inadequate themselves. They tried to project their insecurities onto you, telling you that you're somehow unable to do the things that you're doing, when in fact, it is they who are afraid to take the leap of faith required to soar to freedom. But you are bold. Powerful shit, right? To me, and hopefully to anyone who finds value in this. Speaking of which, if you do find value in this, please like, follow, share, subscribe. I'm going to start posting a lot of good shit. But this reached back out to me for a reason. I don't even remember writing it. It was one of those things where it's called, I believe, automatic writing, where you just start to write. You're not really thinking about what you're writing. You're just kind of jotting down what the universe is giving you. And I don't mean that to be woo-woo. I truly believe that. I don't believe that your ideas are your own for the most part. I believe that we are a vessel for an idea, inspiration. And that's why I feel inspiration is not the thing to solely commit to, because inspiration comes and goes. And as they say, discipline is going to be the one that carries you over the finish line, even though there's no finish line. You never finish when you're an artist. But that reminded me of a couple of things. Growing up, a lot of people were raised by parents who were raised by their parents that were raised by their parents, and not and of course that just means parents, grandparents, and great grandparents. But the significance of that is that you have to kind of remember who these people were and the generation that they grew up in. A lot of them were not raised to be artists. They were raised to be workforce. And there's nothing wrong with that. We need a workforce in this world. However, when you're sort of the first generation artist in your family, that comes with a lot of challenges. You're raised by people who were raised to be workforce, and you have to be a 9 to 5er, or, whatever that makes sense to you and to your family. But ultimately, you work till you die, basically. And you raised a family, and that's all well and good. And, a lot of those things are still in play, and as they should be, because, society stops. The world screeches to a halt. So we definitely need a family, right? But your parents if they had any aspirations, they were probably stamped out by their parents' belief system. Not that there is anything wrong with it, but it's something that is generational. That their parents, your grandparents and great great grandparents, all they knew was work and struggle and struggle and work, which fine, but there was not a industry that was that prevalent like it is today nowadays. I mean, let's be honest, the film industry is not that old. I mean, I think we're going up on 100 years of of the Oscars and stuff like that. So the film industry is not very old at all. So it's actually kind of new in the grand scheme of things. It's like a one person ago. Like if a person were if you gauge time by the lifespan of a person, maximum is like 120 years, right? But let's keep it decent, 100 years, right? So that's like a person ago. So we're actually pretty new in this whole endeavor of film. So consider yourself lucky if you're in that space right now. I do. I consider myself very privileged and lucky to get to do this because, again, when you're the children, or I'm sorry, the child of a person who was raised to be an employee and things don't operate like that anymore. They do, but you have options. You have more options now. And you have these strengths that are sometimes dismissed because a lot of people put emphasis on being a worker bee. And that's cool. Again, nothing against hardworking people. I'm still one of them. I have a 9 to 5, or, you know, a 10 to 7 or whatever. But the point is that like there's a lot that we grew up with that sort of discouraged us from being an artist unless you were already a son or a daughter of an artist in most cases. And there are those standout figures, the ones that had the X factor, that have the it factor. And I consider myself to be very unique with no ego. No ego. I'm a very unique person. I am who I am. I am myself. I'm a very one of a kind person with no ego, of course. I'm not better or worse than anybody. I'm just unique. And it's important to find that. So going back to those people, a lot of times they might flesh themselves out in the form of your very immediate family, even after your parents, right? Because your parents just want what's best for you. They don't want you to be a bum. They want you to be a productive member of society. They want you to work. They want you to get married, have kids, or not, and whatever dynamic that it is that you come from. But ultimately, a lot of people get the make something of yourself, but they don't always include entertainment into that world or that realm of possibilities. It's a lot different now. I mean, you're seeing the onset of YouTubers, you're seeing the onset of streamers, of Twitch people who make buckets and buckets and buckets of money because it's what they're passionate in. They do that well, and there's a market for it. So fuck yeah, do that, whatever it is. And so now you get to have the option, and having the option also comes with the conversations that you have to have and overcome, because you will have those sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, parents that will try to discourage you, not out of complete hatred, but they don't understand in most cases that you could make a living in this. They don't understand it until they see you doing it. And then there's confusion in most cases. Sometimes there's the case where you will have one family member that will be the shining light of a lot of things. And you can't do anything remotely concerning what they do because they got to it first. So that's their thing. You can't do that because that's their thing. There's a lot of examples of that. So that puts you in another position. Not only trying to fit in and then try to stand out, as I like to say, but you then are forced sometimes into a situation where it looks like you're competing with family about also having a voice in some form of expression. And that's definitely not the case for a lot of people. You don't want to compete with any family. You want to champion them, and hopefully they champion you back. And then you hopefully get into some situation where you are all a family of creatives. But that's a big hill, sometimes a mountain for some people, for some families, because then they want to be traditionalists in the sense that, are you fucking crazy? You can't make any money in that. You can't make money in art. You can, and I have, and I will. But they don't fathom that because of programming, right? Like they're programmed to be afraid of taking leaps of faith. That's why they never get anywhere artistically. If you show up to your job every fucking day, you're going to get paid because you keep showing up. You keep getting opportunities to do what it is that is going to make you money. That doesn't change in the artistic realm. You have to keep showing up for things. It's going to be extremely difficult, but everything's difficult. So for me, that was never like a deterrent, something being hard or difficult. Like, no, everything's hard. It's hard to do anything, and it's hard to do nothing. So you might as well do something fulfilling. Some people love to dabble in business, that's their thing. Economics, some people like to open businesses, do financial work, open up restaurants, music studios, plumbers, contractors. And these people that apply themselves do well because they commit to something. And I think that's the underlying point, is that you commit. And there's going to be people that are going to try to deter you. And a lot of it is due to fear. Fear of how they will be looked at. Not so much that, can you do this or not? They're less concerned with that than they are that you're putting some sort of mirror in front of them and having them face their own inadequacies. Which is also bullshit, because if you're doing things genuinely, you're not worried about that. You're just trying to create, not dismantle something. It takes a leap of faith. And as corny as that shit sounds, it's so true. It's so true. They say it all the time. There has to be some type of truth and credence to that. I'm terrified of heights. Terrified. But I hear all the time that when you jump from like a skydiving plane, the scariest part is the step from the plane to the sky. After that, it's pure freedom and bliss. And of course, that's adrenaline, but still, you get the same adrenaline spikes from doing things that make you uncomfortable. You are always the new person at something in the beginning. No matter if you are the new person at a job, new person at school, it all has similar elements to it that you have to overcome. And that doesn't change with the artistic realm. For a lot of it, it becomes in the beginning, like if you're auditioning for things, it's like having a job interview over and over and over again, like until you become more of a household name. And, may we all get that. But usually people that audition a lot are super good at job interviews as well. I know I am. I'm always like, oh, I killed it. I killed that fucking audition. I killed that job interview. And then sometimes you don't get the gig. Sometimes you don't get the job. So it's the same similar pieces to that. But be bold. Be bold. That's the biggest thing. Have the permission that you give yourself to fail. Fail. You've heard that before. Fail upward. Fail better. Fail. Don't be afraid to fail. Fear is what? The little death? Don't be afraid. That's what they say. No, be afraid. Fear's good. Fear's actually healthy because it checks you. It's okay to be fearful of things, but it's what you do after that. That's usually what makes you some sort of product of what's going on. You learn that lesson. So yeah, be bold. Be fucking bold. Be yourself. And I try to remind myself of that all the time. And it's hard. It's not fucking easy. It's not for the faint of heart. Making a living as an artist of any sort is fucking gangster. Like, making a living at art is gangster. Because you have to be the type of person that would be okay with having a starving artist mentality. And it doesn't always mean that you're a starving artist. I make, for myself and my family, I make pretty good money. Thankfully, thank the big dog while I do this. But I've been in a position where I haven't been in a comfortable situation financially. It takes a lot of planning and discipline and all that. So you don't have to be the starving artist anymore either. But moreover, just be yourself. You'd be surprised how far authenticity will take you. And again, this is as much for myself. I'm hopefully practicing what I'm not preaching, but reminding myself of. So, yeah. So that's it, guys. So be you, be bold, have the balls to fail, have the balls to be bold. So again, guys, thank you so much for listening, for watching today. And again, if you found this content at all useful, if you got anything from it, leave me a comment and let me know what it is that you are fearful of, or how you got over a fear, what you do to embolden yourself. Anything that's relative to what this subject matter is. If you have any stories of what you overcame, I love to listen. I love to read it. So please feel free to reach out. No judgment here. We are all works in progress, right? So again, thank you all, and keep following your dreams.